safe anymore. Nothing shall escape. Do these people have no respect? The world is crumbling into chaos, and as everyone just lies around waiting for it to happen, pretending nothing is going on. I may see dead people, but I also see a lot of idiots out in the world. Everyone just sits around waiting for something to be done. But there's a problem. When everyone just sits around and lies and waits, nothing ever gets done. The idiots running the world, the idiots tearing it apart, will drive us into chaos. That's the way I see it. Give it time. You all see for yourself that history is about to be made.
Happy New Year! Oh my God, it's 2015. The year is already a week old. It is January 7th, 2015. The new year, new hopes, new chaos. Oh, we've made it, my friends. We've made it. If you've managed to make it this far, you are awesome. Anyway, for this episode, kind of wanted to do a bit of an update, kind of a little bit of a ramble, and a little bit of just ranting about how life's kind of going right now. You know, some of y'all may know this. You know, I'm only 18 years old, turned 19 on, well, the 19th. It's 12 days until my birthday. Alright. Title of this episode is called New Year, New Worries. Because honestly, I tend to worry about things lately. Admittingly, I probably do it more so than I probably should, but I don't know, just there's this feeling that keeps, you know, nudging at me, saying, psst, psst, I'm here. You know, ever get that feeling that, you know, something big's about to go down? Something huge. And I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be a major cataclysmic event, but they're definitely big in nature. Oh, what am I kidding? There is something big coming on, at least for me. If any of you listening happen to be joining me on this journey, feel free to speak up. I'd like to see who all I'm going over with. But actually this March I actually have something really big coming up. I'm super excited for it, super nervous, you know, every other emotion for this type of adventure. So as some of you may know, I've barely graduated high school at the end of the last school year. You know, it's already halfway through another school year. Some of my friends who are just a little bit younger than me are getting ready to go through the same thing I'm going through. But, it's life. But I'll be honest, something actually came up just before I graduated that I'm very excited for, and I've been kind of building it up for it for a year now. If you're hearing a bit of a disturbance with the audio, I'm having some mic troubles. Need to get a new one here soon. So we'll just do it with what we got. Anyway, you see, about a couple months before I graduated high school, I actually received a letter in the mail from one of my teachers. One of my favorites. Now, honestly, he was my favorite. His class was my favorite the year I graduated, so I was a bit surprised to find out that I was actually nominated for a trip to China, of all places. Now, of course, my curiosity sets up. It's always been a dream of mine to travel. I mean, if you gave me an opportunity to go to some exotic place, go check out some amazing sights anywhere in the world, even if it's in freaking Antarctica, I'll do it. I'll go. Because, whenever I was a kid, my teachers would always kind of laugh at my ambitions. Whenever they try to come up with a little activity, to kind of get to know us. And for somehow, one of the questions that they would always bring up is, what would you do if you had... Oh, wait, never mind. If you were able to travel the world, the question was, if you were able to travel anywhere in the world, money being of no issue whatsoever, where would you stop and where would you end? Where would you start and where would you stop? Well, I'd always say, in full honesty, is that, I'd probably start somewhere in, China or in Asia. I'll be honest, I was kind of aiming for Japan because I'm a Pokemon fan, but hey, I'll take what I can get. Anyway, basically, I just go. They never said. They said money wasn't an issue. If money wasn't an issue, and if I can go anywhere in the world, I would not stop. I would just go. If it's Canada, Australia, some places in Africa, China, I'm going to cross that off my list. Japan, Vietnam, Cambodia, Italy, Antarctica, I don't care. It's just something I want to go. I just want to go. Be able to explore the world, meet new people, explore amazing legends, find something of myself, discover something completely new nobody else has found. That was always been my dream. And I'm going to be able to start working towards that dream. Actually make progress. Actually step my foot outside of the country. I'm very excited. I'm ecstatic. I'll pull up the website real quick just so I can double check everything. I've spent a year. I've worked a job that was pretty much a heart attack waiting to happen. In fact, some of the people I used to work with had heart attacks because they got so dang nervous. I would worry so much day in and day out about whether or not I'm going to make it to the next day. I managed to make it just long enough to be able to pay off this trip. And guess what? 74 days. 74 days. Holy crap. 10 weeks. 4 days. Holy crap. Ooh. My heart's racing. But I can't be honest. The stuff that's going around with Asia, the flights going missing around Asia is making me incredibly nervous. In fact, I'm worried that I'm going to make it back from this trip. I'm going to be honest. This is probably first time flight worries. I've been on a plane before, but first time I was a plane, I was drugged up pretty heavily due to some medical issues. Came pretty close to killing me. In fact, I'm pretty sure it did kill me, but I was able to come back. That's not the point. You know, this might just be first-time flight worries. You know, I'm 6'7", somewhere over 350 pounds. I'm not trying to hide my weight. I just had yet to find a scale that doesn't error out. But I'll admit, I'm a little scared. I'm a little nervous. Now, this is something completely new for me. I've always wanted to do it, but I never thought I'd actually be able to do it. And now I got that chance. I don't know what to think of it, to be honest. And of course, I'm doing my best. I'm trying to help raise up a little bit of money for myself, so I have a little extra funds for playtime whenever my group and I are not on our tours, not doing anything with our tour. We're going to have some scheduled free time. And I'm honest. I'm going to be honest. It's been so freaking hard to do that. I've been doing anything I could think of. In fact, I'm building an application for Roku. And if anybody else uses a... If anybody else who uses a Roku is listening to this, I'm actually building an application. It's going to be called Friends in Cinema, and the idea for it is to basically use the website Fiverr.com and charge independent filmmakers for a place to display their videos. It's kind of a Netflix type situation. In fact, I'm working on the final stages. I just got to finish up some last minute designs. And right now, just to fill the gaps, I'm finding public domain movies. Ones that I don't have to really worry about. These are old movies. I'm talking Charlie Chaplin. Maybe I could display the video that has the time traveler. But anyway, that's not important. I'm going to talk about that a little later. But, you know, I'm trying to push for a job. You know, I was fired from my last one. I've been kind of working, you know, on like gigs, getting $5, $10, maybe around there. But that's not enough. That's not enough. You know, I love my family. I'm completely thankful for them for helping me out with this. But I'm trying to get a job. They're all keep throwing this excuse at me that I'm trying to pull off $50 an hour type jobs. No, I'm not. It's like, I'm not trying to do that. It would be nice, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to get a simple job. I've been applying for places that have been notorious for hiring people straight off the street. If anybody's got a freaking pulse, is able to use a computer right, you know, I've been applying for those places, and I still have yet to hear from them. Plus, a couple joints. Yeah, I'm having car issues. I had my own car, but I ended up getting a really bad wreck. You know, I'm trying to find a couple places relatively close to home so I can walk to work, but as soon as I'm, you know, trying to be an open and honest person, say, you know what, I have some vehicle issues, but I live fairly close to home, they say, maybe another time. What the hell? I'm trying my best here. I'm just like, I can't fit into most cars. In fact, I don't remember the exact model of the car, but I was trying to get myself... I was going on the Craigslist checking out this 76 Lincoln. It was a nice big old car. Kind of looked a little bit like a hearse. But I was too big for that. You know, they even tried to offer to dock down the price. But I couldn't take it. It was like, they thought I wasn't wanting to take it because I couldn't adjust the seats. No, that's not the problem. If I can't fit in the car, it's like, I'm not going to waste my money. I'm not going to be cramped up. I want to be at least somewhat comfortable. I'm not looking for a fancy sports car. I'm just looking for a freaking rig. It'd be nice to have a big old pickup truck, but I even tried out some big old trucks and I couldn't fit. I've posted this on my private Facebook page. A couple people been nice enough to offer up some suggestions, but I just don't have the money to cover those. It worries me. Plus, there's that whole 90-day warning that a lot of companies have, that 90-day, that notice that a lot of companies have on their applications. Do you have something coming up within the first 90 days of your employment to where you're not going to be able to? I'm completely worried that, the second I open up and saying that, yes, I have a trip to China, I'm going to be gone for about 9 to 10 days. 2 of those days, obviously, I'm going to be spent up in the air because of the long-ass flight. I'm worried that they're going to just go around and say, oh, cool, sucks. Oh, cool, good luck, safe travels, but I don't think you'll be able to work here. I'm worried, and in fact, I'm thinking that's actually happened. I went into a few interviews. Interviews went well. I was cracking jokes. Y'all say, oh, you must be professional. Well, guess what? The professional bullshit ruins businesses. It makes them less personal to the customers. It makes them less like family, and that's just something that doesn't work well in the consumer mind. I mean, we live in a world where open and honest communication gets you fucked over. Even if you're not doing anything wrong. I'll admit, I've made my mistakes. I got into the car crash. I was found at fault. Even though I was the one that ended up in the hospital. I bit the bullet. I took care of that. I paid off my tickets. And I moved on. But, I've done my best not to end up in prison. No offense to any young parents out there. I'm trying to avoid having kids. Don't get me wrong. I've had my relationships every now and then, but I avoid having kids so that I can work on at least building myself a decent life to where, I want to make it to where bringing a kid in the world, I don't want to have to worry that I'm going to have to sacrifice spending actual time with the kid just to make some extra bucks in order to be able to provide for him. I want to be able to provide. I also want to just be there. And the way this world is not allowing that to happen. Plus, I hate to toot my own horn, but I may not have done a lot of extracurricular activities in school. Hardly done any because I was simply not interested. People give me shit all the time saying that if I went to sports, I'd be able to get into a good college. You know what? That's not my point. You know what? Doing that type of stuff is absolute bullshit. Yes, you're going to have to go through life and do shit you don't want to do in order to get to where you want to be. That's the truth. But I couldn't play sports. I'm the size of a freaking NFL quarterback, but I couldn't play. I have pancreatitis. It's chronic. It is not induced because of alcohol. In fact, I've made it a point to avoid alcohol at all costs because that would screw me up even more. It's just, I know there's other people out in the same boat. Honestly, the way I see it, it's almost like there's a selective breeding going on. They weed out everybody that tries to be normal, that tries to fit in. I honestly think that is the most worthless pile of fucking shit that is out there. That is the most pathetic, worthless way to view people. Whatever happened, why can't we just view the world, view others, as decent people? They have their good days, they have their bad days. But why can't we just pursue each other as decent people? Not because they were some all-star quarterback in high school, not because they participated in extracurricular activities. I honestly thought those were the most worthless waste of time there was. I still think that. Now, don't get me wrong. If you want to join sports, if we have anybody younger in the audience, if you want to try out for any type of activity, go right ahead. Do something with your time. But don't do it because somebody else out in the world is expecting you to. Don't do it in the world because people think you'll be good at it. Only you know what you're good at. Me, I'm good with computers. I'm good with helping people. And for whatever reason I can't help a person that comes to me, I'm going to do my best to get them at least in the direction of somebody who can, or do a little bit of research myself to see if I can pull it off. And the way this fucking world is, and this is the way my last job was, if y'all do anything to interrupt that process, to deter that process, you're nothing but the most worthless pile of shits I've ever seen in my life. Whatever happened to pursuing something because you wanted to help people, not because of money? In fact, I think money is the last goddamn worry I have when it comes to doing what I want to do. You know what? It'd be nice to have a little extra money around here. But you know what? Money is my last goddamn worry. As long as I'm able to do something that I love doing, I love helping people. I love going out talking to people. I love exploring things. I love learning things. I love working on computers. I love building stuff like computer apps, like the app I told y'all about. I'm working on the Roku. I love doing this. But, oh my God. Some of you might even say I should join the military. Can't do that. My pancreatitis, they're not going to take a chance on that because of how the food is. It's a damn selective breeding process going on. Whatever fucking happened. I mean, I've published 2 books by 18, and I have plans to release more. Shouldn't that be impressive enough? Being able to be a published author, why is it that seems to be frowned upon? Being able to pursue that, being able to chase that, why is it that that's frowned upon? Why is it's frowned upon by your own blood when you want to chase your own dreams? Why is that? Why is it that we think it's okay to tell other people that what they're doing isn't amazing? Now, if they're fucking themselves up, doing drugs, getting busted in crime, beating on other people, that's one thing. But people that are actually trying to make something of themselves, why in the fucking hell is that frowned upon? The way I see it, the way this world The way we treat each other should be frowned upon. It's one thing to try to be looking out for somebody. It's another to tell them their dreams aren't good enough. In fact, I just saw a little thing on Facebook. Bunch of ways. Basically, it was titled 15 or something ways to feel miserable as an artist. In fact, I'm pulling it up right now. But one of the top ones, one of the top numbers, in fact, here's 2 points. Number 2, on how to make yourself feel miserable as an artist. And this applies to writing, directing, filmmaking, songwriting, anything out there. Number 2, talk to your family about what you do and expect them to cheer you on. Number 8, you know what? Let's go to number 6. Let money dictate what you do. Number 7, bow to societal pressures. Number 8, only do work that your family would love. Number 9, do whatever the client, customer, gallery owner, patron, investor, agency, asks. Number 10, this is another point I want to make. Set unachievable and overwhelming goals to be accomplished by tomorrow. You don't want to push yourself too hard, but you also don't want to hold yourself back. It's one thing to have a strategy. It's one thing to have to fight for it. And honestly, it pisses me off the way this world views dreamers, especially if they are actually able to gain some ground. The way I see it, the world is fucking itself over. It's trying to find selective breeding, not allowing for true evolution of humanity to come forward. Of course, that's all I really have to say. I can go on longer, but it's probably best that I don't. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, retweet, any good shit like that. If you enjoyed this show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Amazon, Hello Poetry, anywhere you can find me. The links will pop up on my Facebook and Twitter pages. I have a new book soon to be coming out titled Curse of a Ghost Hunter. It is the sequel to The Love of a Ghost Hunter, part of the Paranormal Raider Force Poetry series. Date is not set in stone quite yet. I'm also working on Franson Cinema for the Roku. I'll be sure to give you guys updates on my social media pages on when that's coming out. I hope to see you all next time, whatever that may be. Be sure to stay safe. Have a happy new year, and I hope this new year brings joy, adventures, and happiness to you. I love you all. Have a good time.